is here to help you put the focus into 2020 and create a strategic blueprint for your family. Contact the Resource Center today.
Well, good morning, everybody in Wildcat Nation. We're sitting here in the Resource Center studio. We're back with Dollars and Cents.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
Kind of foggy out.
It is. It's clear. It's burning off a little bit, though.
So, hey, if you're watching, do like everybody else. Just get out and drive around. Just, join the crowd. Just let's all go out and just have a good time.
Hey, we're playing with our fancy multicam setup this morning.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, we're right here. All
right, here we are.
Put it right dead center there where we can talk to people again. How you been, Bruce?
Oh, I was quarantined for a couple of weeks.
You were marmot hunting?
Yeah. And, that's, you got to find things to do.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But one of my sons had COVID, and I wasn't exposed to him very long, but I was exposed to him. So being fair to you, I didn't want you to get it from me.
Well, I appreciate that because I had to do the same thing, So
you get a lot of honeydews done and things like that.
Well, that's true enough, I suppose.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be quarantined more than.
Well, I hear that.
Twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there goes the landlord. Just walking.
Yeah. So anyway, other than that, everything's been good. It's been busy. Everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. We've got a few coming over to our house, but we're being careful this year and all of that, which I think everybody should be careful. I don't think it should be like California.
Well, no. I mean, here's my position on all this, and I'll just throw it out there. I think you should wear a mask in public. I think you should do that. Because it's a nice thing to do for other people, even if it just makes other people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I do not agree with forcing anyone to do something they don't want to do. I'm a huge advocate. I mean, if you believe we should wear masks, if you're a healthcare professional, you think masks should be worn, I want you talking about it. I want you telling people what you think. I want you encouraging people to do what you think they should do to keep people safe. And I want you to speak about that boldly and often and convincingly, but I do not want you or anybody else forcing your opinion about what their behavior should be about anybody else. I just don't believe in that.
Kind of like politics.
It's a little bit like politics.
Yeah.
I'm not a socialist.
Yeah. Well, that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of amazing to me that, the first couple of months, remember how much of a pain in the rear it was to grab a mask? And it's like, this is so ridiculous and all that. And, now it's just second nature.
It kind of is.
You just grab your mask when you go in somewhere. I do it without even thinking now.
Well, I still forget.
And I forget. And and then I'm like that GIF walking back to the truck. Yeah. Trying to get my mask. But, I do. I walk back. I get my mask because I'm trying to be respectful for everybody else. But, it's like anything else in the world. I think this too shall pass. I think that, things are going to always, now that the politicians have realized that they can make a big deal out of something that, proportionately.
Right.
It's not like swine flu, and we never heard anything about that. I was eating barbecue sandwich when I heard about swine flu, and thinking, gosh, should I eat pork or not?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I think this will pass, and it'll be a memory, and
Well, I think everyone was perfectly happy to wear a mask when people were suggesting and encouraging people to wear a mask. I think people became resistant to wear masks when people said you must.
Yeah.
And I think that's just an American trait, and I think that we'd all be wiser to strongly encourage rather than be heavy-handed about it. But that's not why you came today, Bruce. You didn't want to talk about this today.
That's true.
That's only.
Hey, we've only got 3 or 4 hours.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've only spent 4 minutes so far.
Well, I mean, you know, patriots, we like to kind of think for ourselves. So, you know, it goes all the way back to tea.
My microphone fell off there for a second. Yep. And you, so we started Revolutionary War over taxation.
On a tea.
And do you know how much that tax was?
It wasn't much.
It was 1%, I think.
Yeah.
And what do we pay now? 30, 40, 50%?
I don't know.
We just cough it up.
I just get up and live. Here's a good thing my dad always told me.
Yeah.
Son, you can't worry about stuff you can't control.
That's true.
And you know what? One thing you can't control right now? Politicians, the government, taxes, all that stuff that we're all losing sleep over. You can't control any of it, right?
Nope.
You can vote however,
Yep.
and the other side's going to figure out how to buy the voting machines or be a stockholder in the voting machines.
But you know what you can do?
Manipulate them, right?
You know what you can do?
What?
You can buy ammo.
I will. Yeah. So, you know, you can't worry about what you can't control. So, you know, we're pretty sheltered here in the Midwest. And you know what? We just take care of our neighbors, take care of ourselves, take care of our neighbors. You know, I think that's how we got to live our life around here.
And I think that'll get the job done.
And throw up some walls down the road, maybe.
If we have to.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you want to talk about, though? We got way off on that
Oh,
tangent.
boy, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun, though. It's foggy. It's Monday. Is this Monday?
It is Monday.
It's Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Yeah, so we kind of get to ramble.
I've already written
you know
one
what?
trust today.
Huh?
I've already written one trust today.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's been working since daylight. So, all right. So I've been getting a lot of questions, and I usually do this time of year. Everybody starts thinking about money because what are we doing? We're spending money. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up, and everybody's thinking, okay, what's going to happen on Black Friday? Everybody's watching for the ads, watching for the deals, watching this and that, and everybody's thinking about money. And you know, I was standing in line the other day at a store, and I heard a conversation between a mother and her children. It's like, you know, we're going to cut back this year. Now you guys know this, that, you know, and I'm sure that's going to be a topic of conversation this year. Is everybody's going to have to cut back because of money, right?
Right.
Money is a big deal. Money kind of drives, it's the fuel that drives our truck, so to speak, for the family. So, you know, when young families are starting out, the mistakes that young families make are pretty obvious to those that have been around for a while. And we're watching, you know, maybe a new married couple get started, and you know, they've got these hopes and dreams, and you know what? We should still have those because, you know, it's America, right? America.
Indeed.
So, you know, so I'm sitting here listening to this mom, and she's worried about money, and you know, so I come up with a few things, and honestly, in the financial world, these have been discussed for years. About how to properly start financial planning when you're either a young single person or you're a newly married couple. And I think it's vital. I think it's important, especially at this point in our lives where everybody's been affected by this virus. I think, okay, consider this. It's a fresh start. January's coming very quickly. Can you believe it's going to be 2021? Let's start out brand new in January, and let's develop a financial plan. And I don't care where you're at, you can start with these 7 things.
And well, let's have it.
All right, so first thing we're going to do, you get $1,000 in cash that you keep in your sock drawer. You get $1,000.
Not even in a savings account.
You don't even worry about anything else until you first get $1,000 of that emergency saving cash that you can immediately grab, and you maintain that. You don't save it up and then as soon as you get it, go buy something. You keep that $1,000. That's it.
And if you have to spend on emergency, the first thing you do,
Build it back
up. Okay.
Right? So $1,000 in cash that you keep in your sock drawer. Next thing you got to do, immediately get a plan for reducing your debt. Not your mortgage. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Debt. Debt is any debt other than your mortgage. Credit card debt, consumer debt, that might be Don't ever do a payday loan, but if you have, pay them off immediately.
Cars?
Cars,
Car loans?
yep, pay them off, focus on them. Pay as quick as you can, pay as much as you can, as fast as you can, and get your debt paid off. Now, that's a big step number 2. All right, well, gosh, Bruce, that may take me 2 years. Well, so be it. You got to start somewhere. 2 years from now, you'd have wished you'd have done it.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
So pay your debt. Number 3, we're going to establish an emergency savings fund that we are going to build and build and build until that gets to be 3 to 6 months of your annual income. Once you get to that point, financially, you've got a stable foundation. You got $1,000 in your sock drawer. You have no consumer debt charging you 18% interest, or even 5 or 6 on a car loan, or whatever it may be, and you got 6 months, 4 months of income.
Well, that 3 to 6 months, it sounds daunting until you realize you're not making $200-300 in credit card payments or automobile or $1,000. You add up your credit cards, your card notes, and all that stuff. You're probably paying $500 to $1,000 a month in debt service. We'll take that, use that to build that emergency fund, and you'll have that knocked out.
That's right, and you build that up, and before you know it, you've got that accomplished. Then, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to put 15% of your annual income in a retirement savings account. This is after you've got your $1,000, after you've got your debt paid off, your consumer debt, after you've got 6 months of income and savings. Then you're going to maximize your retirement accounts. If you don't have a retirement account at work, then you buy an IRA, or my first recommendation, buy a Roth IRA. Everybody that's watching this program should own a Roth IRA. And if you don't know why, call me and I'll let you know why.
882-1800.
There are huge benefits down the road for a Roth IRA. Don't you wish that we would have bought a Roth IRA the first day we started working?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're both pretty young.
Right.
I mean, dapper, and, we've still got
40, 50 years.
at least, and with Taekwondo, we can probably stretch that out a little bit more. But had we bought a Roth IRA, let's say when we were 25, golly, we'd have a whole lot of money in that Roth IRA today, and you know what? Every dime of that would be tax-free. And if something happened to us, every dime of that would be tax-free for our family.
And it doesn't matter how much Biden increases the tax burden.
That's a tax-free benefit forever.
So,
So again, 15% in retirement savings. Then we're going to establish what I like to refer to as a family savings account. This is where you get your kids involved. This is where, every time you're paying bills, I think you ought to include your children. Let them know how hard it is to pay that debt back. Let them know how you're having to sacrifice other things so that maybe the next generation won't do the same thing we did, right? I've let my kids sit and watch me pay bills, and it's like, Dad, why are we having to pay all this money? Well, because you had to have that.
That sneakers.
You had to have this.
That jacket, yeah.
That's right. And so let your family get involved, and when you establish a family savings account, you'd be surprised how quickly your kids want to get involved, and helping you think forward about, hey, let's save. Well, do we need to buy that? Well, maybe not. Now you're teaching your kids about money.
That's great advice.
I didn't do that, but I wished I would have. Right? So you gotta think through this. Then now we're down to number 6. Now we're going to focus on our home mortgage, and we're going to pay it off as soon as we can. Now, I know we're talking years, but if you're doing the other 5 things, you've established $1,000, you've paid your debt off, you've got an emergency fund, you're maximizing your contributions for retirement, and you've established a family savings account. Now just focus on your mortgage. Once your mortgage gets paid off, maybe that's 10 years down the road, maybe it's 12, maybe it's 4 or 5. You'd be surprised.
Yep.
All right. Once you get your mortgage done, then you just go back to the beginning and you redo everything. Instead of doing it just for the family, now you do the same $1,000 savings for each person in the family. Then you do focus on debt reduction. If anyone in the family's got debt, you pay that debt off. Then you establish 3 to 6 months of income. Even if it's for your daughter working part-time while you're going to school, she should have 3 to 6 months of her income than she's making in cash.
And you know how the
Teaching
ability
those
to do that.
lessons.
You can do
And
that.
now you can do that because you've done it. You've blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Right.
And we've lived through it, and now we're moving on down the road. And financially, you're not like your neighbors. You're not like the Joneses. Don't ever pattern yourself by the Joneses, so to speak, right?
Right.
Because they're broke.
They're in debt.
The average savings account in the United States is a negative number because we have more consumer debt than we have savings. So don't pattern yourself by anybody else. Establish your own foundation and build it from there.
Good advice, Bruce.
Sounds good, I think.
If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up here at K-ROG or give us a call at the Resource Center, 882-1800. We'll be back next week. Thanks, Bruce.
See you, bye.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.